I think it's important to tell the people that you love them, and to also recognize that no matter who you are and what you are, it's okay to feel every emotion on the spectrum and actually allow yourself to feel that emotion on the spectrum because people don't realize that that's kind of part of the human condition is we are supposed to feel happy, we're supposed to feel sad, we're supposed to feel anxious, we're supposed to feel scared, and all of that shit. But there's this expectation sold to you by Instagram, by Facebook, by social media, by people in your life that you speak to them and for some reason they're always peppy and they're always this. And you see that and it's sold and it's like, why can't I be like that? It's okay that you are not. And I will be the first person to tell you that. To be 23, young, and hopeful is really interesting. I would say this is the first time in my life that I'm hopeful and I am actually looking forward to the future and I'm looking forward to growing older. And I think it's because I'm looking forward to growing my craft. I'm looking forward to finding my voice and finding my art and finding what I want to do in order to make the world a better place. And it's cool how your problems change over time and what is important to you last week or last month is all of a sudden not important to you at all. Um, I made my short film Boys Just Want to Have Fun, and at the time that was really important to me, that film. And now watching back on it artistically, I don't feel that that encapsulates the type of person or the type of art that I want to create. And I only came out with that about a month ago. And I think that's honestly an awesome problem to have. And I'm really grateful for that because when I was in college, I was really scared to even just start. I was really scared to even just make art in general because of what would this person think of me, or maybe they think I'm weird if I'm writing this script, or all of that kind of stuff. And now my problems are, is this too much in the sense of, is this how I artistically want to express myself? Is this me taking it seriously, or is this me just making it to have fun? And I think that's an awesome problem to have because it's no longer am I not doing it? It's now the problems of what come about from doing it. And I would rather have those problems 10 times out of 10 because you're still in the act of actual action. You're still doing something. It's not like you're sitting there and you're questioning whether or not you do it. It's now you're questioning, okay, should I do it this way or should I do it that way? And for me personally, that is awesome to be able to look at myself in the mirror and to know that that's an issue now because 6 months, 7 months, 8 months ago, I couldn't even have imagined that. And I mean, the amount of growth that I've made personally in such a short amount of time is really fucking cool. And I don't know, I think that's awesome. But I also think it's cool to understand there's problems in success and there's problems in failure and there's problems in staying stagnant. You just have to choose which problems you would rather have. And I feel for most people, it's the problems of actually doing it and then figuring out what to do after. Um, and I think that's beautiful. And I'm really happy that I've realized that at the age of 23 because it doesn't make it any less painful. It doesn't make it any less whatever, but you kind of have to recognize and you have to like swallow the pill that you will never patch that missing piece that's inside of you. Um, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think that's a pill that you have to swallow, because people will go their entire lives trying to fill that with extraneous things, whether that be drugs, whether that be sex, whether that be like, I don't know, shit that essentially doesn't matter. You have to find the things that matter to you. And I think that is beautiful. I think that's like fascinating. But it's also scary because it's so easy to go towards the easy thing that is going to provide you that same level of satisfaction in such a short amount of time that you otherwise would need to put a lot of effort in to get that same sort of thing, which obviously goes towards the instant gratification aspect of things. So it's weird, but I do believe action is the most important part of it all. A lot of people think they're doing so. That's a slippery slope, because then it's, if you're not thinking about something, or you are thinking about something, then you convince yourself, but it is an action. I'm doing something in order to further yourself. So sometimes the smartest thing for you to do is nothing, and that's for you to find out, which is fucking scary. Because it all sounds like it's contradicting each other, which it is, but it's not. I realized that within my exposure therapy that I've been doing was I had a lot of frustrations as of recently because of my moods. Like I would go up and down and up and down, and I kept trying to figure out an answer towards that, and it all came down to the fact of, it's like, it's because I'm not allowing myself to feel both at the top and the bottom. I'll happily allow myself to feel at the top, but then once I get to the bottom, it's like, no, I can't feel like this. This is bad. What? Um, yeah, which is weird. Well, it's not weird. Of course, that's usually how the shit works. So there's just been a lot of things that I've kind of been finding out in a very short period of time, and it's weird, and it's cool, and it's frustrating, and that's what's so beautiful, I guess, about it all. Um, yeah, like I filmed the short film yesterday, and I was like, this is boring. When I filmed the first scene, I was reading back on the script as we were filming it, and I'm like, I don't like this. So let's make it fun. Let's make it different. And then we ended up filming it, and I loved what we ended up coming up with. And then I ended up thinking, I was like, damn, am I falling into the horror aspect again when I was trying to make like a romantic sort of film? So then that came up for me, and I loved that was a problem, because that's a problem of action, like me doing something. So yeah, I think you just have to like really slow down, step out of yourself, and say, wow, these are good problems to have. At least for me personally. You gotta find the good in shit. God, you really do. It's scary. And it sucks, and it's hard to. It's really fucking hard to. But weird. It's a weird world that we live in. I I won't spoil, but I watched The Drama with Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, and I really loved that movie because the thing that Zendaya did, or let's not spoil it, could have been anything. And similar reactions would have happened. The same, you could have put anything she would have said and then switched the movie around it. And I loved that because it shows what's realistic. It shows how real people would react in a situation like that. And I thought that was fucking phenomenal. And I started thinking about that and I was like, damn, like what would somebody do in those circumstances? Like, at what point do you draw a line? At what point do you say this is a point of no return? And then other times it's like, yeah, no, I can. They're not that person anymore. Are they still that person? And I started thinking a lot about the fact this is completely unrelated, but sort of like a drug addict. So somebody could get their life and be stable and have a solid life, but 30 years down the road they haven't used, but they still kind of get cravings for whatever that is. And I think that's interesting because for me personally, when I hear that, I think the same aspect of why some people cheat. I think that you can have a really stable, safe lifestyle, but something might happen, whether that be external or internal within your life, and your brain automatically goes back to that desire for the up and the down, the toxic kind of lifestyle, of the highs and the lows rather than just like a steady. And yeah, that's like why people cheat. I just think like drugs and all that shit and whatnot all kind of encompass one another. And yeah, also what I was talking about with the missing piece, my second cousin got me a Shel Silverstein book. It was called The Missing Piece. And it was how most people are trying to find their entire life, whether that be a medication, whether that be a job, whether that be a hobby, whether that be a friend or relationship, in order to fix and patch this hole within themselves. And, finally you found the missing piece to make yourself whole and round, but now you can't stop yourself from rolling past all of the friends that you made, past all of the gardens that you planted, all of the, food that you've eaten, because now, oh, I can, you can't stop anymore. And I thought that book was beautiful and very like representative, I guess. It was just cool. And it that as well as there was another thing that I was going to say about the missing piece. I think I lost it. I've been losing a lot of shit as of recently. My brain's been fucked. In a good way, though. Been doing like a lot of videography and shit. Trying to get paid. Trying to make some fucking bread, man. Trying to be Dr. Bread, man. What was I gonna talk about? Something about fucking being whole. Something about a missing piece. Oh my god, that's what it was. Justin Waller. Random name drop. I saw a guy on Instagram and he was talking about, I don't understand why a ton of people are upset and mad at Justin Waller for being in a one-sided monogamy. And at first you hear that and you immediately think, the fuck is this guy talking about? And then you sit down and you actually watch the video, and I think the guy made a really good point. He was like, Justin Waller spent his entire life broke and then all of a sudden worked his fucking ass off to get money. So now he has money. Okay, well, now he wants more. And then now, CEO of his own company. So now he's freelance. He can work on his own time. Boom. Now he has money. Now he has his own time. Now he has his own house. Now he has all the cars that he wants. Now he has enough money that it doesn't matter. He can just fly wherever he wants. He can have all the food. Okay, well, maybe I need a wife. Okay, well, now you got a wife. And then now you're with a beautiful woman. And then now you've got kids. And then, okay, well, there's still a missing piece that's inside of me. I'm trying to find it more. Okay, well, now I have that. Well, now I mean, I still don't feel whole. Maybe I need to have threesomes with my wife. Okay, well, now I have that. I still don't feel whole. Boom, keep going and going and going and going. Now, obviously, you can sit here, and that kind of has to do with the drama movie. I'm kind of interconnecting these two little stories. It's like, at what point do you kind of draw the line and be like, all right, kind of you're. And I think they kind of go together realistically. It's like, at what point do you draw the line? I mean, when I heard the guy explain that perspective, I kind of got it. It's like there's this dude who kept wanting more and more and more and more, and he kept getting every single thing that he wanted that other people strive their entire lives to try to achieve. This dude did it, and I don't know how old he is, like in his fucking late 30s, maybe early 40s. He wants threesomes with a woman because it still doesn't feel as if it patches him and makes him whole. It doesn't matter what medication you take. Doesn't matter how many fucking women you have sex with. Doesn't matter how much money you have in the bank. You're always going to want more. So I thought it was kind of fascinating to hear that perspective. And then the guy used religion in a sense and was like, you got to find Jesus, and that's what makes you whole. And I mean, obviously, that's his answer, but every single person, they have to find their own answer that ends up, not encompassing that need and that desire for, external things. So it's weird. It's fucking weird. And at what point do you accept that? Is it possible to accept that within the society that we live in right now? When you're force fed all of these people living these lifestyles that are deemed so much better than yours. And then you've got Clavicular on the internet telling you that your looks matter so much more and they're going to get you in more situations because you're more attractive. Dude, you're like, social media is selling motherfuckers poison. Whether it's right or wrong, I'm not disagreeing with the fact that Clavicular says the more attractive that you are, the more situations you're going to be put in better in life. I don't disagree with that statement. The problem is the lengths that you go in order to get to that point. You can be the ugliest person on the face of the earth and you can be extremely fucking successful because what you create is greater than the need for looks. The problem is whether or not you have the intelligence, the look factor, blah, 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 whatever that stuff is. Crazy. And then people try to think you need to find a relationship in order to feel whole. That ain't gonna do shit. If anything, that's gonna show you more what the fuck you're afraid of. It's the evil world we live in. But I think that's what's beautiful about it in the human condition. So much to learn about you, about me, about how we interconnect, and how we all lead to the best people that we can be, and the universe and society. Speaking of that, I was watching a Joe Rogan podcast with Theo Vaughn, and he was talking about how autism is so on the rise, and they were like making jokes about how they wonder if it's the universe's plan to make us all autistic, so we all are like working essentially under one brain because we get rid of like empathy and we get rid of basic human needs and functions that we can just like all sit in a room and play video games and create shit on social media and whatever all day in order to feed the machine in order so like essentially to make us all one. So it's like we start as a single-celled organism and then we separate and then we all have all these things just to all go back to one in general. That was low-key a kind of cool whatever the word is, cool conspiracy theory. Who knows? I ain't gonna be alive to see it. Hopefully that shit happens in 1,000 years. I'm trying to be a fucking human. I ain't trying to fucking have sex with no machine. You know how ass that sounds? Probably be fire. Oh, Jesus Christ. Anyways, I'm gonna pretend like I didn't say that. I'm joking. I should be a comedian. I'm pretty funny. Anyways, I'm gonna try and use this energy surge to try and make some cool shit. I'm at the library right now. Anyways, I love you. YVO. Goodbye. Oh, go see Our Hero Baltazar, and then go see the drama. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but a crazy fucking double feature to watch on the same day. That was wild. Um, two movies that you know similar themes, but attack them in very different ways. I loved it. Bye bye.